a rare and balanced view on politics in today's world. Based on facts, born of rationality, common sense, and logic, providing context on today's events. This is American Perspective with Rick Thomas.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of American Perspective. Well, I gotta say, it's, for me, whenever somebody drops into one of my socials, leaves a comment, and then, of course, immediately blocks me right afterward, it's kind of satisfying to see the trash take itself out. As one who takes the trash out at the house, quite often it's really fun to watch it go and do it itself. It'd really be fun if I had a robot to do that here, but, it just isn't the case. Anyway, yeah. We've got some trash that has taken itself out in Congress in the last 24 hours. And there's still a couple more. Well, actually, there's quite a few more, because let's be honest with you, out of the 535 members of Congress, there's probably only a handful or a very small percentage of that group that actually is worth keeping. The rest of them can all be going out with the trash. But that being the case, at least they're kind of sort of trying to clean themselves up. I got a little bit of that going on. Plus, the Strait of Hormuz is now closed, at least according to the United States Navy. The Strait of Hormuz is now closed, and we have the impact of that coming up. Plus, some other things have popped out and presented themselves in terms of some of the things, especially going on with the 2019 impeachment of Donald Trump, that, it probably never should have happened. You know, that whole Adam Schiff thing where he was talking about, oh, yes, Russia, Russia, Russia. I have evidence, and never produced it. Yeah, well, anyway. All right, we're going to get to all that in just a moment. But first, tonight, my unofficial producer is up for the Pledge of Allegiance. So if you are of mine, please stand, remove your hat if you're wearing one. Like me, place your hand over your heart and follow along with Nana, as she recites the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And I thank you, Nana of JJS, for that wonderful rendition of the Pledge. If you would like to hear your rendition of the Pledge played here on the program, all you need to do is record yourself reciting or performing the Pledge in your style. Take that audio file, video file, whatever kind of file, and attach it to an email. And then, of course, address that email to me. Send it off to fans, F-A-N-S, at AmericanPerspective.online. That's fans, F-A-N-S, at AmericanPerspective.online. And I will get you into the rotation. Yeah. So I have 23 of these. I'd like to get 26 by the end of 2026. We're getting close here, folks, but I need 3 more, and I can only do that with your help. So if you haven't done one yet, I would certainly appreciate it. And you would send it in. If you do it on your phone, if you record it on your phone, use the share option. That's the SHARE option. And it looks like 3 little dots kind of in a triangle, but it's not a full triangle. But anyway, at least it does on my Android device. But yeah, use the share option and send it off to me and send it to fans, FANS, at AmericanPerspective.online. All right. Tonight's headline sponsor. I'm wearing one of their shirts. I think they actually call this, I think they actually call this one the Liberty, because it has the Liberty Bell on the shoulder over here. And it also has the Lincoln Memorial a little bit farther down. It's right around my stomach area. But we on the show, we call this one the Fat Paws, because it was Fat Paws's favorite shirt out of the ones that he had purchased from theflagshirt.com. That's right. Go to theflagshirt.com and get yours today. Head on over to theflagshirt.com. Check out all of their styles, whether it's men's, women's, kids, made in the USA, accessories in the fantastic red, white, and blue, and other patriotic styles and colors and shapes and all kinds of stuff. These, the ones that I'm wearing, are that I wear quite often, are the the men's cotton polos. I like my cotton polos. So these are the men's cotton polos. I've got them in a bunch of different styles, and you can check out all of yours by heading over to theflagshirt.com. Don't forget to look at their America's 250th anniversary collection as well. Remember, this year, July 4th, is America's 250th anniversary of becoming an independent country, or at least declaring independence anyway, and then, of course, subsequently kicking the snot out of the largest army and navy, the largest military force of the era. But anyway, I digress. Head on over to theflagshirt.com. That's theflagshirt, all one word, .com. And if you spend $100 today, you can get 1/5 of that off. You can get $20 off by using the code PATRIOT 2026. That's PATRIOT 2026. All one word as a code at checkout at theflagshirt.com. So if you spend $100 or more, you'll get $20 off by using the code PATRIOT 2026. And you'll get that $20 off. But I know not everybody wants to spend $100. I get it. It's fine, because I'm going to help you out anyway. If you head on over to flagshirt.americanperspective.online, that's flagshirt.americanperspective.online, you'll be able to be presented with a coupon code that you can copy and paste into the promo code box at checkout at theflagshirt.com. And you will be able to get $5 off your order on American Perspective. Go to flagshirt.americanperspective.online, copy and paste that coupon code, put it into the promo code box at checkout at theflagshirt.com, and get $5 off your order on American Perspective. Head on over to theflagshirt.com and get yourself patriotized. All right, well, let's get into it. You know, I talked about this. I talked about this story breaking. It was breaking news, I don't know, about a week ago, maybe not even a full week, where Eric Swalwell was about to get all up into some serious sexual allegations against him. And, well, apparently they're serious enough. Now, first of all, I just want to put this out there. I definitely am not sitting here saying that the man should be convicted over just allegations. Anytime that you have allegations like this, you need to make sure that you have actual facts and evidence backed up in order to be able to see this through to its conclusion. And of course, he'll get his day in court with regards to this, because there have been, several times that somebody makes allegations, and you'll recall the left has all of that, Me Too movement, so on and so forth. And, we got to believe all women. Yeah, we just have to believe what they say. They don't need any kind of facts or evidence to back it up. Now, I've been explaining to you on this program that I am a very fact-based individual. I like facts, I like evidence, I like provable evidence. And until you bring provable, undisputed evidence, then I'm really not all that interested. Well, unfortunately for Eric Swalwell, they actually brought the evidence. So apparently at least one of the accusers under her allegations, she actually went to a hospital and had a rape kit done and filed a complaint and so on and so forth. So there is actual evidence apparently out there. And given the fact that this guy appears to not only have done it once, twice, 3 times, we all know about his tryst with Fang Fang, him banging, Fang Fanging, the known Chinese spy. We also know that he is getting an allegation from his nanny. That's right. His Brazilian nanny has also stepped forward. I think she's Brazilian. Anyway, has also stepped forward and has basically made claims against him. Now, there also, I've heard, haven't seen the video directly, but I've also heard that there is video of him forcibly kissing a escort. So all of this being said, again, the man's going to have his time in court, okay? He is, but all of this has caused him to not only drop out of the California gubernatorial race, but as of earlier this afternoon, he also has stated he is resigning from Congress. So this is essentially and effectively the end of this idiot's political career. Now, you've got to ask yourself, seriously, you have to ask yourself, what is it, whatever this is, and again, I'm just kind of pointing out where there's smoke, there's fire. Well, this guy is now, he's like backtracking. He's backing away from his his politic dreams and so on and so forth. He's on his way out. So I'm just saying, don't necessarily shoot the messenger per se, but he is, he's definitely in some serious trouble. Well, it's not only him. It's not only him. And thankfully, he is going to be gone. So we can, he won't be farting on camera anymore. Eric Fartswell is hopefully going to go the same way that Tim Walz will eventually go, and that is to fade off into historical obscurity forever. And there you go. So he's ended his bid. He said, and by the way, he also started off, acting like he was all, huffy, I'm big chested. I'm going to fight this. I will fight the serious false allegations that have been made, but that's my fight, not a campaign's. This is when he was this is him backing out of the bid for gubernatorial race in California. Now, I'm sorry, but this is I'm going to be a little critical about this for just a second. Because he wrote on this X post, he says, to my family staff, keep in mind, he's the one that is being accused by many of the female members of his staff. Anyway, he says, to my family, staff, friends, and supporters, I am deeply sorry for mistakes in judgment I've made in my past. I'm just going to point something out to you. A mistake in judgment. A mistake in judgment is once. A mistake in judgment is making a mistake and then correcting yourself because your judgment was in error. That's not what this guy did. In fact, one of his accusers that have stepped forward, I don't know which one, but one of them, he apparently, at one point when she was 21, took her out for drinks, got her drunk, and took her home to wherever he was living at the time. And she doesn't recall much about the evening, and except for waking up in bed, in his bed, and he essentially wasn't there. And then there was another time a little bit later on. She's a couple years older. She apparently was in a compromising position again, drunk. She doesn't remember much of the night other than, according to her public testimony now on video, she says, I recall telling him no and saying no multiple times. And yet she claims she woke up the next morning naked in his hotel room by herself. Now, one thing I do know is that you've got to get pretty damn blackout drunk to not remember the events of the night before. Or the alternative is that you are drugged. We don't know all of the implications about this, and unfortunately, many of those date rape drugs that are out there are designed to metabolize quickly. And so there may not be any evidence of her being drunk. However, the second time, reportedly, from what I understand, the second time she did actually have bruising and was apparently bleeding a little bit. Don't know. There's no information in terms of where, but anyway, so this guy's goose is cooked. And so he decided to end his gubernatorial campaign, and then he announced that he is planning on resigning his seat in Congress. And yeah, he's I don't know. I mean, I don't know how long he's going to keep this up. However, Swalwell has been facing mounting pressure to leave Congress or be expelled. And I've got a little bit more information on that, but first I want to remind you of who is now the leading Democrat in the California gubernatorial race. Yeah. Remember Katie Porter? Yeah. And by the way, as of right now, the two Republican candidates who are in California at this point are still holding the leading positions, but the new Democrat frontrunner goes to Katie Porter, who has faced allegations of domestic abuse and criticism over her treatment of staff. And she is already getting hit by the Republicans about that, especially after she went ahead and blasted Swalwell over the horrifying allegations against him. So, yeah, she posted on X, she's like, the allegations against Congressman Swalwell are horrifying. I'm thinking of the courageous women who have come forward to share their stories. We believe you and we stand with you. And there's a reader's note on that X post that says, Katie Porter is an alleged domestic abuser who poured scalding potatoes on her ex-husband's head. She's also been seen on camera verbally berating staff for minor slights and has been described as abusive herself. What is it with these people? I mean, look, I understand in order to get into politics, you have to have a level of competitiveness. You also have to have a level of narcissism, that kind of stuff. I just don't seem to get it. Why are these people, and they seem to be mostly, not all, but mostly Democrats, who seem to be absolutely horrible, awful people. Now, reportedly, in terms of Eric Swalwell's case, reportedly rumors about him had been running for a very long time, going all the way back to when he was some sort of a council member county council person. So why is it taking this long for all of this stuff to come out? Well, obviously, he apparently was a rising star in the Democrat Party, and of course, they're covering up for it. So, anyway, let's just not forget who Katie Porter is. And I personally hope that this shakeup in the gubernatorial race, we'll have to see what the polls look like after this, but this shakeup in the gubernatorial race actually makes it to the point where California may end up with no other choice other than a Republican for the governorship down there. And I'm serious. If you're backing the Democrat Party, look, if you're a hardcore leftist backing the Democrat Party and you look at stuff like this, because again, keep in mind, hardcore leftists don't really care about the hypocrisy of these kinds of situations. Like Eric Swalwell going after Brett Kavanaugh, like Eric Swalwell going after Ben Shapiro, of all people, in terms of, talking about being able to control your sexual urgings and all this other stuff. He was in a congressional meeting with Ben Shapiro, and he's like, in the past, you've said X, Y, and Z, whatever it was. And he says, do you want to retract any of those? And Ben's just like, well, I agree with me. So thank you. Yes, I agree with my statement. It's like, oh my God, people, come on. I mean, if you're any sort of a intelligent Democrat, and I know that's not very many of you, but if there is a group of intelligent Democrats, you have got to be looking at this as though you are the dog inside the burning house cartoon meme. And for the while there, you've been sitting there saying, oh, this is fine. When are you going to say, my God, I'm about to die in this burning house. I'm getting the hell out. You don't have to come to the Republican Party. Trust me. We're not expecting that. And keep in mind, I'm not a Republican. I vote with Republicans, but I'm not a Republican. But all of that being said, it's about time for sensible Democrats to go, you know what? This sinking ship is really, really sinking. It's time for us to get off and go independent. Jump on the independence wagon. Get away from these people. They just are absolutely horrible. Now, all of that being said, we in the Republican Party have our bad news guys as well. So, Tony Gonzalez, who is from Texas, he is a representative from Texas. He's a Republican. He's been under investigation for, let's see. He is under investigation for financial misconduct, campaign finance. Oh, that's Corey Mills. My bad. Tony Gonzalez he has had an admitted affair with a staffer who apparently died by suicide. That's what it is. So Tony Gonzalez has sexual allegations reportedly against him as well. And just moments after Swalwell announced his departure from Congress, Gonzalez announced that he's going to be following suit by retiring from his position tomorrow. So he's gone. And, yeah. He wrote on a post on X, he says, there's a season for everything, and God has a plan for us all. When Congress returns tomorrow, I will file my retirement from office. It has been a privilege to serve the great people of Texas. And he supposedly had an affair with a staffer who reportedly set herself on fire. Anyway. So believe me, they are in both parties. They are in both parties. And that's not even the half of it in terms of the trash that's going on in Congress. Because apparently Congress itself has decided that they're going to potentially expel 2 other people So Congress originally was looking at just one Democrat. What is her name? They were originally looking at the Democrat Sheila Cornelia or Sheriff Sheflius McCormick from Florida. She, if you recall, about 2 weeks ago, had a finding by the ethics committee that she funneled nearly $5 million in pandemic relief funds into her campaign. Boy, fraud, waste, and abuse, again, on the Democrats. But they were originally talking about potentially expelling her. She had gone through the House Ethics Committee. She had gone through the hearing. They found it out. They were going to meet and talk to her. Well, then, next thing you know, the House added Eric Swalwell's name to the list. And then they added Tony Gonzalez's name to the list. And then, maybe not necessarily in this exact order, but another name popped up. And that was Representative Corey Mills, a Republican from Florida as well. So he apparently has ongoing investigations into financial misconduct, campaign finance violations, as well as sexual misconduct. That's a total of 4 that are potentially on the chopping block from Congress. 2 of them, Tony and Eric, Swalwell and Gonzalez, have decided to step out on their own. The other 2 may very well be kicked out, according to the leftist rag Axios, among some other places. So, now I got to applaud. Seriously, I got to applaud over the fact that they're at least attempting to kind of take the trash out. But to be honest with you, I have a feeling this is just the tip of the iceberg. Because if you recall, there was Matt Gaetz and his allegations. He ended up having to step down, not only step away from becoming, I think it was Attorney General, but also step down from his congressional seat in order to do that. But it was amid allegations of sexual misconduct. But as you also recall, there actually is a slush fund that Congress has in order to have payoff money for sexual misconduct allegations. Now, supposedly, for an example, Eric Swalwell sent naked pictures of himself to some of his staffers. That's he was alleged to have done that. Now, guys, I'm going to follow right along with Ben Shapiro here. He said this on his podcast. I'm just going to tell you, guys, women do not want to see your naked body, okay? They are not interested in seeing your schlong, all right? They really aren't. Now, we as men, we might want to see all the naked women that we want, but I'm just telling you, they're not interested in your schlong, all right? Especially unsolicited. So don't sit there and think that you can send somebody explicit photos of yourself and get an extremely good response out of that. Anyway, why people do that? I mean, do they not know the internet is forever? I swear, we have some really stupid people out there. We really do. I remember telling my kids when they were growing up, I'm like, look, folks, just remember, you put something out on the internet, it is out there forever. Like these videos. I am very well aware and very cognizant of the fact that all of these videos could eventually come back upon me at some point in time. I don't really care, because whatever I say here now, I will certainly say again, more than likely, because I haven't changed much, and I'm not going to change that much. But all of that being said, doing explicit pictures of yourself, yeah, no, not a good idea. Not a good idea. This is not the days of where you could run off to the photo mart and get your, prints. And even then, you were still questionable as to whether or not the person running the photo mart actually either A, saw them, or B, kept copies. But I digress. Anyway, the point being is that, well, we have some people in Congress that are hopefully finally going to be held to some sort of a standard. Now, keep in mind, and G actually put this out. Oh yeah, Polaroids. I can't forget Polaroids. Thanks, Nana, official producer. But G actually put this out. He goes, narcissism has a lot to do with congressional misconduct, I'm sure. They are all self-centered. And that leads me to the dust-up over a artistic rendering of Donald Trump healing a sick man. Okay. And it was made up in a way to make it look like Trump was essentially, portraying himself as our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. It was stupid. It was dumb. And as I've told you all many times over, Trump is a literal narcissist. I mean, he loves his name. He loves gold. He's going to put everything in gold. He puts his name in gold. He puts all kinds of stuff together. If you want a textbook picture of what narcissism is, you can put Donald Trump's picture in the album of people that are narcissists. And again, this is this is a stupid own goal. This is a stupid own goal. And unfortunately, he probably was thinking that it would be a good joke, because sometimes we put out stuff, we say stuff, we think that it's going to go over well, and it falls flatter than a freaking empty balloon or a lead balloon. And honestly, it's an own goal. I mean, he's since taken it down, a rare event for him, and he has since taken it down. But other than that, I'm basically just going to say, guess what? That's if you're surprised by it, I don't know why you're surprised by it and why you would necessarily get all of your feathers bent out of shape over something like that. That is to be expected from him. He is going to do crap like that. It shouldn't really be a surprise. Is it offensive? Yeah, maybe. Sure. I don't consider it funny. I don't consider it flattering. There's a lot of people who consider it potentially even blasphemy in the religious world. But let's be honest with you. I'm not following, and this is something that the left doesn't seem to understand. They're like, well, you're a Christian. Why can't you blame him for that? Oh, absolutely, I will blame him for that. But here's the thing. I didn't hire him as president of the United States to be my spiritual leader. I didn't hire him as president of the United States to sit here and say, okay, look, oh my gosh, I'm going to follow and worship the ground that he walks on. I don't. He is a man. He makes mistakes. He's done plenty of mistakes in the past. But that's not why I want him as president. That's not why I have him as president. Reason why I have him as president is because he was literally the better choice of the two that I had at the time. Now, keep in mind, too, not that it really makes any difference because so many people remember the bad things that you do long after all of the good things that you do. He has done a lot of good. He's doing a lot of good right now as president of the United States. He's doing all kinds of good. So occasionally a slip up, guess what? We're not perfect. None of us is. We're humans. And for whatever reason, he thought that, hey, that was a pretty good, maybe he was playing with AI and he just did something stupid. I don't know. I don't know the ins and outs of it, but I do know that the man made a mistake. And in a rare moment of self-reflection, he deleted the post. Now, granted, like I said, the internet is forever. And so that picture is still floating around out there. People snapped it, snapshotted it, reposted it, did all of the things that they do when they want to find something that you're getting in the way. But again, that's Trump. I'm sorry. You may not like everything that he does, and I certainly don't, but that's exactly who he is. You should be not only expecting stuff like that, but, just like him dropping the F-bomb in some of his posts on Truth Social. That's Trump. That's him. And eventually he will fade off into historical obscurity again forever. There are people who are calling him the greatest president that has ever lived. I don't agree, but hey, you're certainly able to voice your opinion. And there are a lot of good things. Is he a good president? Absolutely. Is he a great one? It still remains to be seen. He's still got another 3 years to finish things off. 3.5 years or whatever. I don't agree with him on everything. And do I like everything that he does? No, but I've got good friends. I've got people that I know that a couple of very good friends that I get into arguments with all the time. People make mistakes. He's human. He makes mistakes. Okay, so he did. He got into it with the Pope. And in a way, I'll be honest with you, the Pope kind of, should stay in his own lane and not necessarily talk politics. But at the same time, though, I seem to recall a particular Pope, a guy by the name of John Paul II, I believe, who was part of the triad between himself, Margaret Thatcher, and Ronald Reagan, who all three are credited as a team with taking down the Soviet Union back in the 80s. Now, do I honestly believe that Donald Trump and Pope Leo are going to be getting together and, having and somehow connecting with like Mark Carney or whatever and getting rid of Iran? No, because that obviously isn't happening anymore. But to sit here and argue back and forth, I mean, again, some of this is kind of petty crap, but that's Trump. Trump, you say something to him, you hit him, he hits back. That's the way it is. That's the way it is. So I'm just saying, everybody getting into a dust up over this, it's like, come on, folks. It's no different than saying that Donald Trump is doing something totally out of the ordinary, that he's out of his mind, that he's, not doing, this is brand new Trump all of a sudden because he's going after Iran when he's been talking about it for 40 freaking years. Okay. This is no surprise. None of this stuff should be surprising to anyone who actually pays attention to Trump. But because of the fact that they don't pay attention to Trump, that's why this stuff kind of pops up and they're like, oh my gosh, this is so surprising. No, this isn't surprising. There's nothing surprising about it. Anyway, here's another thing that isn't surprising, and I'll get to that in just a moment. But first, just a second here. Yeah. But first, let me talk about this wonderful elixir that I drink every single morning. I actually got my coffee a little bit later this morning for some reason. But yeah. Anyway, if you still haven't tried 1775 coffee, now is your shot. The 1775 starter kit just dropped. There's a small number of units available. You're getting in each unit the Bold Dark Roast, that hits hard, the smooth medium roast, as well as the Vitality mushroom coffee for clean energy and laser focus with no crash. All of these are single origin, small batch, toxin free, and mold free. Plus, you'll also be receiving a gold spoon clip because freedom isn't scooped with plastic. You'll also be receiving a frother that is strong enough to stir up not only your coffee, but also your mother-in-law's opinions. Let's be honest, she's got a lot of those, and they're not that hard to stir up. Anyway, you'll also be receiving a black 1775 tumbler. It's $170 worth of coffee and gear, yours for just the low, low price of $99. This is for the ones who've been watching 1775 blow up on Rumble and wondering if it's actually worth it. Well, spoiler alert, it is. Go to the numbers 1775 coffee. That's all one word. 1775coffee.com/studio, STUDIO. Grab your starter kit before they are gone. That's 1775coffee.com/studio to grab that starter kit before they disappear. Bold beans, clean fuel, and a morning routine that stands for something, just like Rumble does. Go to 1775coffee.com/studio and grab your starter kit that apparently, according to my Whiskey Warrior G, I don't know how he figured this out, but apparently with 1775 coffee, if you accidentally spill it on your American flag shirt, the national anthem is going to play in your head. So there you go. Oh, I've also been told that God Bless America is another choice. Either the national anthem or God Bless America, one or the other. Anyway, I don't know how he figured that out, but whatever. Go to 1775coffee.com/studio and grab your starter kit today. All right. Well, some information has been released with regards to the 2019 Ukraine-focused impeachment against Donald Trump. How many times are we going to see this? You know, this is one of the things that I get really frustrated with. All of these idiots, and yes, I am calling out the morons who are sitting here saying, oh, Trump and Epstein. Trump is in the Epstein files 38,000 times. Okay, his name was frickin' mentioned in emails. Trump is in the Epstein files. He's not had one shred of evidence shown that he was ever at the island or ever at his Epstein's place of residence. Trump is in the Epstein files. He's never had anything, nothing to demonstrate that he actually had anything to do with Epstein's little, trysts with the younger women or whatever, sex trafficking or whatever it was that Epstein was doing. And you would think that if any of that were true, that the Biden administration or the Democrats as a whole, or even all the way back to Obama, you don't think that these guys would have just freaking released that crap? They would have leaked it. I mean, Adam Schiff was a leaker. He would have been perfect. You just get it over to Adam, and Adam, of course, spills it and is like, a sieve and just lets it all go out onto the world and rub your hands, wash your hands of it and say, I don't know how Adam got it. Anyway, I'm sorry, I'm kind of going off a little bit here. But here, once again, we have, along with the whole Russia hoax, which was made up crap, the 2019 Ukraine-focused impeachment against Donald Trump. You remember that Vindman guy? Vindman, who was saying that, oh, I heard him say a quid pro quo. Yeah, you remember that idiot? He's still in Congress, by the way. But here we are again. Tulsi Gabbard releases and declassifies some files. And the new memo, apparently, the new memo and the declassified evidence shows that the CIA analyst who prompted this whole thing against him, including there was a U.S. intelligence watchdog developed derogatory evidence against the guy who basically said that he submitted false information in his whistleblower complaint, that he offered hearsay, supposedly to support his allegations. For those of you who are not necessarily all familiar with court proceedings, but hearsay is what you hear from somebody else. That doesn't go over very well. Okay. And he apparently had the potential for bias against Donald Trump, according to these newly declassified memos that were kept, of course, from the Americans. But in the failed bid by the Democrats to remove him from office over this Ukraine crap. Guys, seriously, folks, I'm just going to say, if there's any there, if there was any meat on that bone, it would have literally flown. I mean, this is Donald Trump that we're talking about. These idiot droogs morons, they have a, pardon my French, but a hard-on for going after Donald Trump, regardless of what Donald Trump can do in terms of being good. Regardless of what Donald Trump does that is good for America. Just think of this. You had Cassidy Hutchinson was talking about January 6th in front of the January 6th committee after being coached by none other than, oh God, I can picture her. Damn it. I can picture her face. I'm good with faces, not so great with names. What is her name? Somebody, please. My unofficial producer had better tell me who the name is. I can't remember her name. But anyway, she's a blonde. She's the Anyway, yeah. I mean, all of this stuff. If you honestly believe that Donald Trump actually had anything on him that the Democrats could have used, they wouldn't have to make up all this crap. They wouldn't have had to make up Russia. They wouldn't have had to make up any of this crap. You know, Ukraine or all that. Yeah. Yeah, 3 Chevy. It's that guy. It was the former VP. Thank you, Liz Cheney. There we go. Thank you very much. Yeah, Liz Cheney, who got resoundingly defeated after that. Anyway. Well, okay, now, Nana, you and I are in the same boat, but here's the thing. You're my unofficial producer. You jumped yourself into that position, so I'm hoping that you can at least give me something. Anyway, she's hitting me up in the chat saying, why me? Anyway. Oh, all right. So maybe I need to have a numbers person and I need to have a names and faces person for my producers to keep me on the straight and narrow. Anyway. All right. Oh, Coco in for the potential possible. Well, I missed that one. Save. Anyway, sorry. I'm just messing with my chatters. These guys are. Oh, you guys are great. I'm just saying. You guys are great. I love all of you. Anyway. Now I've got them all fighting over who's going to be the names person for this. Keep me in line. Anyway. All right. The investigators for the Intelligence Community Inspector General documented several concerns about Trump's accusers' political motives, noting that he admitted that he was a registered Democrat. Oh, surprise, surprise there. Oh, yeah. Anyway, noting that he was admittedly that he was a registered Democrat who had worked closely with Joe Biden on Ukraine issues and who disliked some of the conservative figures in the president's orbit. Huh. Yeah. Okay. There you go. Oh, my gosh. Anyway. Yeah. This is so ridiculous. This is so ridiculous. And, yeah. Once again, folks, these people, they're just, all they want to do is go after Trump. That's it. It's Trump, Trump, Trump. That's all they have. And frankly, I'm kind of getting a little tired of it, to be honest with you. I just wish that some of these people would actually do a perp walk. That's all I'm saying. I mean, this is kind of treasonous if they're making up crap. If they're making up crap, in the world, I that could kind of be, potentially treasonous, I guess, that they're making up stuff. Anyway, enough. All right. Well, we all know that Iran walked away from the table, said, nope, we're done. We're done. We're not talking peace anymore. And there are 6 particular items, according to a senior U.S. official who told the Washington Examiner, there are 6 particular items that the U.S. is definitely not budging. Number 1, complete end to uranium enrichment. Number 2, dismantling Iran's nuclear facilities. Number 3, surrendering any highly enriched material that they currently have. Number 4, halting support for any terrorist proxies, such as Hamas and Hezbollah. Number 5, reopening the Strait of Hormuz without any tolls. And number 6, committing to a broader regional security framework. According to Vance, J.D. Vance, Vice President of the United States, those 6 demands are a literal red line. No go. So, there you go. Seems pretty simple to me. I mean, 3 of them have to deal with the nuclear stuff. They're non-negotiable. Thank you there we go. Bonnie chiming in from the back row. Anyway, yeah, they're non-negotiable. They're something that we are not, they're red line. We're not, you must do these 6. And of course, Iran walked away. Well, since Iran walked away, Trump says, okay, fine. We're shutting down the port or shutting down the Strait of Hormuz. And all of the blockade, we now have a blockade on the Iranian ports. Now, let's be honest. Let's be honest here, okay? Bonnie, I knew that would get your blood pumping. Maybe that Kentucky accent will come out again and you'll be able to send me sound bite of it. Anyway, military blockade is going on with the Iranian ports. It goes into effect. And the U.S. Central Command said that it's going to block all vessels of nations that are entering or departing the Iranian ports. But yet all of the other ports, other places, they're going to be allowed to pass through the blockade. Okay? That's how this is going to work. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. Donald Trump actually had a couple different options here. He could have just said, okay, you guys don't want to negotiate with us, and go in and just wipe out Karg Island. Okay? That would have effectively done the exact same thing. But instead, he's giving it a little bit of a soft touch and is basically saying, okay, Iran, we're no longer going to allow you to offload your oil. And by the way, the effect is already being hit in the economy, the Iranian economy. Okay? The effect of this is already being hit in the Iranian economy. But if it continues for a significant length of time, it's not only going to be affecting the Iranian economy, it's also going to be affecting the Chinese. Because the Chinese get roughly around 37 to 40% of their oil from Iran. So this honestly is sort of a brilliant move in a way. Just saying, let's call it like a positive step without going and destroying anything. And this is costing some serious money. There we go. My unofficial producer with the numbers, comes in. It's like $14 million a day that's hitting the Iranian economy with this blockade in place. And so, and you guys don't believe me that she's there. I'm going to show you. There you go. And so, seriously, I mean, this is going to affect not only Iran, but it's also going to affect China. Now, here's a little piece of considered to be inside baseball. Pakistan, who held the peace talks, is a very close partner with China. A very close partner with China. So what do you think China's going to do once this blockade goes into place? Well, they certainly are not going to try and face us off directly. So they're going to be talking to Iran and saying, hey, and Pakistan, hey, you need to get those people back. You need to get them back to the table. You need to convince them that it's time to give everything up. And early reports are, by the way, that by itself may be happening. That there is a possibility that Iran is basically saying, you know what? This is too much trouble for us. We may have to give up our nuclear stuff. So, yeah, we'll have to see. In the meantime, though, Donald Trump did tell the world, hey, guess what, guys? If you need oil, why don't you come on over to America? We got plenty of oil. We got the light, sweet crude. You remember that conversation that I had over oil? That light, sweet crude that's really some of the best in the world. Why don't you come on over and we'll pump it all out for you? Well, take a look at this graphic. You see all these ships? These are empty oil tankers that are headed to the United States right now. You can see this line, this clear line going from basically underneath India around the Horn of Africa and coming directly up into the Gulf of America. There is reportedly somewhere around 121 of these empty oil tankers that are making this trip. And you don't want to believe, Fox News? Well, I got another one for you. Here's a website that watches ships from all over the world. Now, I filtered out a lot of the things outside of tankers, okay? So that's what all these red dots indicate. These are the number of tankers that we have running around our world today. And if you look right here over to my, essentially my right, your left, you'll see that same exact line showing up, going underneath the Horn of Africa and straight across the Atlantic Ocean to Brazil and onward into the Gulf of America, where we are open for business. Now, keep in mind, the price of oil did go up to $100 or a little over $100 today on this, Strait of Hormuz thing. And by the way, there are plans, I keep hearing, of some of the OPEC nations like Saudi Arabia and Oman and some of these others that are looking to bypass the Strait of Hormuz to get their oil to other places where they can load it. But that stuff is happening. That stuff is happening. And it's all due to one guy. His name is President Donald J. Trump. He is reshaping the world as we know it with his policies. And it's a good thing. Believe me, it is a very good thing. And that, my friends, is it for me for this evening. Do me a favor, if you haven't already, head on over to rumble.com. Get yourself an account. It is free. And once you are signed up and signed in, make sure that you search up the American Perspective channel and hit that green follow button to get notified every time that I go live. Also, don't forget, before you take off, to give me a thumbs up, thumbs down, or in the case of 3 Chevy, a thumbs sideways across all my platforms, whether it's X, YouTube, Facebook, or, of course, the aforementioned Rumble. We will see you tomorrow night, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, right here on American Perspective. Have a great rest of your evening, and good night, everybody.